everyone, it's Margaret, and today I'm bringing you a video about being more productive. More specifically, 5 ways to increase your productivity, or rather, these are the things I do to help me increase mine. Hopefully, they will also help you increase yours. I get emails and messages occasionally asking me how I do everything I do, and the short answer is, I don't do it all in one day. Basically, most of you know I sell on eBay, Etsy, Amazon FBA. I have a booth at an antique mall. I create YouTube videos. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I volunteer at my kids' schools. You get the idea. I'm here, there, and everywhere. But if I looked at it as I need to take care of all of these things now, I would go out of my mind. And to be fair, I have my good weeks and I have my not so good weeks. And this is kind of why I wanted to bring you this video today. I had a message yesterday asking me, how do you do it all? How do you do all of these things and then on top of that list 70-something items in 1 week? Well, that was 1 week. I don't do that every week. And it was a big eye-opener to me that when I focus my attention and when I am pinpoint accurate on what I want to get this week, what do I want to accomplish today, then I can go after it and do it. So let me go ahead and get started with my 5. That's 10 if I do it like that though. My 5 productivity tips. And I have my little cheat sheet down here so I may peek a little bit. Okay, so the first thing, this is number 1, is you have to figure out what it is that you want and prioritize. What has to get done and what do you want to get done? And figure out within those things what is the most important this week. Now, this week, it might be Amazon FBA, or it might be Etsy, or it might be I need to work on something for the kids, or whatever it is. It could be anything. It could have to do with, getting the taxes done. That's the most important thing. It doesn't have to be necessarily business related, but what's the most important thing, and then just categorize it. Excuse me. And once you have those prioritized, it makes it a lot easier to figure out where you're going to focus your attention. All right, the second thing that I do to increase my productivity is, it's a funny phrase, but it's called eating the frog. You've got to look at that list and you have got to eat that frog. There is one thing on that list that you have been putting off or dreading doing. You just can't do it. And most of the times I find it really doesn't take that long once you really just do it. But yeah, you've got to eat that frog. That one thing that you really don't want to do, just knock it out of the way and get it off the plate. That way you don't have to deal with it or worry about it anymore. Otherwise, it's back there nagging at your head. You're like, oh, I got to do that. I got to do that. Like right now, personally, I have got about 10 plants sitting on my back porch that I need to plant. I enjoy planting too, but for whatever reason, I'm putting it off. So I need to go and eat that frog and plant those plants because literally it would take me less than half an hour. But it was one of those things. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, getting the dishes loaded. Just eat that frog, get it over with, get it out of the way, right? So the third thing that I do is I create my plan. I take a look at my list and my prioritized things that I need to get done, and I figure out what might distract me from getting those things done. And so when I figure out what's going to possibly distract me from getting those things done, I can create a plan. So let's say I need to get photos taken for my listings. I know that if I do that when the kids are at home, that is definitely going to distract me from doing that. This may not be the same for everybody, but my children want to come in and see what I've got, and can they have it, and can they play with it just for a minute, please, 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 and I'm not going to or I might forget to measure it. I mean, those kind of distractions are something you have to think about. Also, so I know I will get my photos done when the kids are not home. As far as listing, I know I can list sitting on the couch, or I can list when the kids have gone to bed, so I know that I can chunk my day in a better way. I can manage my time a little better. So you've got to figure out what are the things that are going to distract you or keep you from accomplishing your goals, and structure your plan and your day accordingly to get those things taken care of. The fourth thing that I do to try to increase my productivity is actually downtime. Sometimes you get so crunched into your computer or the other things that you have to take care of or photographing. I mean, you just get so locked in and you start getting burnt out. So I set my timer for every 30 to 45 minutes to take a break. I mean, whether that means I go outside for a minute or I just go sit on the couch and just stare at the TV. A lot of people say just, taking a step back and not having any kind of screen time, taking a quick walk, just something. And oftentimes I find that it only takes me about 5 minutes or so, 5 or 10 minutes to decompress and refocus my brain and my attention and get back in and continue with what I needed to get finished. And then the fifth thing that I do to increase my productivity is I evaluate and I redirect. So usually at the end of the day, sometimes at the end of the week, I will sit down and look at how my week went. And was I as productive as I wanted to? Or was I spinning my wheels, not taking care of what needed to be taken care of? Did I accomplish my goals? So I didn't get to show you this earlier, but this is what I used to do, and this is another reason I'm doing this video, is because I've kind of fallen off the wagon. I've had so many different pulls on my time and my energy that I had to sit back and say to myself, are these the things that I want for me? Or are these the things I'm doing to help and make other people happy and to help other people reach their goals? My week is, up until today or yesterday, was so packed that I just had to take a step back and say, no, I can't do any more. I mean, there were days that my time commitment was, one day a week my mom wants to do something with me. One day a week I was supposed to go to this women in business meeting. One day a week do a live show. One day a week I'm up at the school volunteering. And as I started looking at this, like every single day in my week was allotted for somebody else. And yes, I'm a part of it, and there are things that I am happy to do, but it was beginning to get to be too much. I had to prioritize. What are the things that I don't mind, allotting my time for? Absolutely, I'm going to volunteer at my school. Absolutely, I'm going to see my mom. Maybe not one day every single week for a full day, because we see each other frequently on the weekends and the evenings too, but those don't count. So it's just finding that priority, even in those type of things. Does that mean that I don't like those other people that that want me to go to business meetings and do live shows and things like that? Not at all. It just means that I was getting drained. I mean, my levels were just, and there was no time left for me to refocus and do the things I wanted to do. So the things I was focusing on or wanting to have as my goals were just kind of going down the list. So I had to take a step back and say, no, I can't do all of these things. I have to figure out what I want. So here's what I was doing that I'm going to be going back to. And as I said before, that week that I listed 72 items, I was laser focused on my goal. And I got so much accomplished that week. And then the following week, not so much. And then spring break, not so much. So this is where I am planning on going back into getting that laser focus so that I can become more productive as well. So this is what I used to do. This is my planner. And each evening, I would list out the things that I wanted to do every day. Box, sales update, email about my son's party, awards email, that's for Boy Scouts. My son had a reading party at school. My son, this is just a reminder, pick your son up late, had book club that evening. I needed to go to the grocery store, go to the post office. So these were all of these different things that I wanted to get done. And I did pretty good that day. Now I didn't put what my specific goal was there. I wasn't specific. I may have listed one thing. And for me that day that was good. I got one done. And then if it didn't get done, I bumped it to the next day. So it worked for me, because I could just cross it off and move on. Now, this is an awful lot. This is another way I tried that I was thinking about doing. That was just happened to be up there. But I saw this at Tuesday morning, and it was super cheap. It's just a pad of paper that you can tear off, and you get a new one. And you just list like 4 or 5 things that are your high priority items, and try to be specific. So if it's list, like how many are we listing today? If it's photographing things, how many are we photographing today? And get those things on there. To be able to just mark off. And so the important thing about taking that time to evaluate and redirect yourself to make sure you're going in the direction that you want is not meant to beat yourself up or, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't do that. It's to help you focus and get back on track. There's a saying, I think it's Oprah, but she says, what you focus on expands. And if you are constantly focusing on I can't do it, or oh my gosh, I'm comparing yourself to somebody else, and just like constantly like in the negative, I mean, that is just going to snowball. Trust me, I know. I have been there. And it's a choice, so I chose like, no, I'm going to focus on the positive stuff. And yeah, there's negative things, you got to take care of those. But as far as this, like I'm doing my best. If I get off track, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm just going to move my cart back over onto the track and let's get back on track and keep going in the right direction. It's going to get bumped off again. I'm going to have to pick it up, put it back on the track, and keep going in the right direction. So just keep that in mind when you are taking that time to evaluate and redirect yourself, because it's not meant to be a battle on yourself. It's meant to just get you going in the right direction again. Thanks so much for coming by and checking out the way I become more productive when I get off track. Hopefully you can use these tips as well. If you have any questions or comments, leave me a comment or question down in the section below, and make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, and if you know someone that this might be beneficial for, why not share it with them? Make sure you go out and enjoy yourselves, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks again. Bye.